So good morning friends, welcome to Raj Malhotra IAS. So guys, here we are about to start the session. The PDF for today's session has already been uploaded on our Telegram group. You can download the PDF from there. So the PDF has already been uploaded. You can download the PDF from our Telegram group. Again, I am repeating this. We are about to start the session. So here we are live and connected. Man needs difficulty in life because they are necessary to enjoy the success. This is the this statement has been made by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He's saying that you need difficulties in your life. Now those difficulties are going to be there to basically make you strong. And that's the thing that we are going to cherish. Okay. This is what we are going to cherish in our life. That here difficulties are there to allow yourself to evolve. That's your evolution. Okay, that's your evolution. No matter how difficult circumstances you will undergo, you will emerge stronger. You will emerge stronger with different capabilities. Okay, with different capabilities, and those capabilities are going to stay with you. Those capabilities are going to stay with you. Okay, no one can snatch those capabilities from you. कोई आपसे वो छीन नहीं सकता है. That's the real definition of success. Okay, that's the real definition of success. So this is what we have to understand. Now in our life multiple times we come across many difficulties. Okay, so you are working in the organization, there will be difficulties, people will play politics, there will be people who are not hard working. Okay, और बैठ के खाना सिर्फ तनख्वाह खाते हैं वो, ठीक है ना. They are not hard working and they are just sitting there and they are just taking money. I am saying that you don't care about that, because you should keep on working on yourself. I know that things are going to be difficult at your end. This is what is bureaucracy में भी ऐसा ही होता है. Only few people are hard working and rest of the others are sitting there. वो सिर्फ बैठ के खा रहे हैं. Okay, now in that scenario you have to wait for the time. Wait for the time. Okay, the time will come when you will have an advantage. You should keep on working on yourself without looking into the results. There will be a time when success will be there at your feet. That's the message that you have to see. Okay, so वो जो hard working, जो वो काम नहीं करना चाहते, they have not developed capabilities. Those people who are not hardworking, they have not developed any sort of capabilities in their life, but you will have the capability. Wherever you will go in any type of organization, you will remain undefeated. This is the important message that you have to see here. And this is what Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam is saying, that you need difficulties in life because they are necessary to enjoy success. That's the definition of success. So in UPSC preparation, we should not be demotivated because marks nahi aa rahe hain. The exam is also going to be very difficult. Okay, so we should not be demotivated by that. You should have the patience to continue your effort, to put up your effort. I am telling you, you will remain undefeated because by that time you end up developing the capabilities. आप में वो capabilities आ जाएंगी. Okay, those are going to stay with you. Those are the skills that are going to stay with you. Not in one organization but in any other organization, it will bring benefit to you. एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में बेनिफिट नहीं मिला तो क्या हुआ, किसी और ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में आपको बेनिफिट जरूर मिलेगा. लाइफ में कहीं ना कहीं उसका आपको फल जरूर मिलेगा. दिस इज द मैसेज दैट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. जो कामचोर होते हैं वो तो कामचोर रहेंगे. ओके, उनका कुछ नहीं हो सकता, वो पॉलिटिक्स करके इधर उधर की बात करके उनकी काम चोरी ही रहनी है, वो लोग लाइफ में ज़्यादा दूर नहीं जा सकते। बट यू विल गो टू अ वेरी एट अ रियली यू कैन से अचीवमेंट जो है आपकी बहुत ऊपर होगी उन लोगों से। दिस इज व्हाट you have to understand here. So let's start this particular session, and here we have this news in front of you. CBI searches Delhi Deputy Commissioner, Delhi Chief Minister's premises in the excise policy case. So this is going on right now, and still there is no clarity over it. Okay, Aam Aadmi Party is saying that this is political vendetta, ये पॉलिटिकल वेंडेटा है, ओके, एंड वी डोंट नो हाउ थिंग्स आर गोइंग टू टर्न अप, बट सुप्रीम कोर्ट हैज सेड मल्टीपल टाइम्स दैट सीबीआई इज अ केज्ड पैरेट, ओके, कि सीबीआई आपका केज पैरेट है। तो रियलिटी क्या है वो हमें कुछ नहीं मालूम, थिंग्स आर नॉट क्लियर राइट नाउ, एंड दिस इज व्हाट इज अटैच्ड टू द इमेज ऑफ सीबीआई दैट इट्स अ caged parrot. Okay, this is not what I am saying, Supreme Court has said it. So this is really important thing that we have to understand here. Now whenever we talk about CBI, now CBI director is there, okay, government have brought some of the reforms regarding appointment of director. So appointment of CBI director, okay, reforms have been done. Reform in the sense, there is a 3-member committee in which prime minister is going to be there, leader of opposition is going to be there, and judicial member, okay, chief justice sahab bhi jo hain ye bhi aa jate hain. So in this way they select the person who is going to be there as CBI director. Now apart from that there is another protection that has been given. CBI director has been given the tenure of 2 years, okay, that he cannot be removed. If he is appointed, he is going to be there for 2 years. So minimum 2 years का उनको जो है यहाँ पे टेन्योर मिल जाता है, ओके। ही विल बी वर्किंग देयर विदाउट एनी पॉलिटिकल प्रेशर, कोई भी प्रेशर जो है वो यहाँ पे नहीं आएगा इनके ऊपर। तो दिस इज व्हाट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड, ओके, दिस इज व्हाट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड। but still we can say that CBI director is not, you can say, truly free. अभी भी वो completely free नहीं है, this is what you have to understand, okay, अभी भी वो completely free नहीं है। तो ये चीज समझना बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है, ठीक है ना, ये चीज समझना बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है। Now other than that you have to understand one thing here. This CBI, like CBI as an organization, it was formed based on the recommendation of संतनाम कमेटी, ओके। CBI जब बनाई गई थी टू फाइट अगेंस्ट करप्शन एंड ऑल, इट वाज formed on the recommendation of Santanam committee. So this is the additional, you can say, information that should be there with us. And still we do, you can say, consider CBI to be like among बाकियों से थोड़ी ज़्यादा prestigious है, but only in the case of politics vendetta and all we have seen the misuse of CBI. तो यहाँ पे हमने काफ़ी मिसयूज देखा है, स्पेसिफिकली इन द केस ऑफ पॉलिटिकल वेंडेटा वेयर द रूलिंग पार्टी विल यूज सीबीआई टू टारगेट द ऑपोजिशन, ओके। अदर देन दैट सीबीआई परफॉर्म्स वे बेटर देन द पुलिस, स्टेट पुलिस. So this is how things are. Now China calls for India to work in same direction to restore the ties. Okay, so like they are basically responding to the comments made by S. Jaishankar. So S. Jaishankar made a comment that India China ties are going through a really rough patch. काफ़ी जो है रफ पैच से यहाँ पे चल रहा है, हम जो है गुजर रहे हैं इंडिया चाइना टाइज के अंदर, एंड दे हैव सेड दैट ओके दिस इज द टाइम दैट India should do what China is doing. But the point is this, our stand on these particular things are different. Why I am saying that India's stand is different? Basically China wants that India should allow, complete trade अच्छे से होना चाहिए, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा, बट फॉर अस your sovereignty, your national integrity, that is really very important, okay. China has occupied some of the areas in the border जो कि इंडियन टेरिटरी था, जो कि डिस्प्यूटेड एरिया था. सो वी हैव अ क्लियर कट स्टैंस दैट टिल द टाइम दैट थिंग इज नॉट सॉर्टेड आउट और दैट डिस्प्यूट हैज नॉट बीन रिजॉल्व्ड, वी कैन नॉट गो अहेड विद द नॉर्मल टाइज. आप नॉर्मल टाइज के ऊपर आगे नहीं जा सकते हो. दैट्स द रियली इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट हेयर. There is another angle I would like to discuss here. So here I would like to discuss the idea of Nehru. Now these are the mistakes that have been committed by, you can say, Indian leadership in the past. Okay, तो वो सबसे बड़ी मिस्टेक क्या थी? Nehru used to accommodate China. Nehru had a, you can say, this point of view that Hindi Chini bhai bhai, but reality was different. So he was the prime minister of India, but somehow when it comes to China, he had a, you can say, a soft corner. But on the other side, Chinese Communist Party, they were very clear about it. Okay, Chinese were clear about one thing, that China consider itself to be a middle kingdom. Okay, this is their traditional thought process. They consider themselves to be a middle kingdom. It means that they consider that China is at the center of the world and China is supreme. Okay, China is at the center of the world and China is supreme, and whole of the world will revolve around China. पूरी दुनिया चाइना के आसपास घूमेगी. China will dictate how the world will operate. Okay, China will dictate how the world will operate. Now China wants to realize this particular dream. China इस ड्रीम को रियलाइज करना चाहते हैं. Okay, करना चाहता है. For that, China wants hegemony in Asia. एशिया में hegemony चाहिए चाइना को. And I am telling you this thing, other than India, no other country can match up China. So it is only India which can have a standing in front of you when you talk about Asia. This is the reason why regularly we have differences with China, and it will continue. Okay, ये डिफरेंसेस जो हैं हमारे कंटिन्यू रहेंगे आने वाले टाइम में भी. डिफरेंसेस आर गोइंग टू एग्जिस्ट, थिंग्स आर नॉट गोइंग टू चेंज. ओके, in the coming time as well, the things are not going to change quite easily. So this is what we have to understand. This is the whole equation that we have related to China. Other than that, there is nothing much on this particular page. कुछ खास नहीं है यहाँ पे. Okay, so directly we'll move to the further section. Okay, so here we have this news. Give Aadhaar details of 12 Bangladeshi nationals. Okay, so now NIA has approached basically court to have this information regarding the Bangladeshi nationals who had the Aadhaar card. So as per the section 33 of the Aadhaar Act, it mandates that confidential information or authentication documentation which are prohibited from being revealed can be disclosed only by the order of court, not inferior to the judge of high court. Okay, so that's why NIA is now approaching to the court. NIA is now approaching to the court because they want that information. It's a investigation that is being carried out. Investigation चल रही है और उसके अंदर जो है उनको वो additional information चाहिए. That's why they have reached out to the court. It's a normal process. Okay, because you have brought in section 33 in the Aadhaar Act which facilitates this thing. So there is no issue in this, but I would like to just tell you that this provision is existing. Aadhaar Act के अंदर ये provision existed है that okay, in case of if you want some information, if any investigation agency wants any type of information, it can be facilitated with the order of court. This is what it is about. So we'll move to the next part. आगे चलते हैं सीधा अब हम आपके editorial section पे. Okay, we'll try to find out what exactly is there in editorial. So here we are. Injustice of the exceptionalism. Now this is what it is about. Okay, so you need to understand this is regarding the release of, you know, release of convicts, okay, of rapists. Means these convicts were basically rapists of Bilkis Bano. Okay, so this particular thing is coming up now. It was, you can say, a major, you can say, development in the recent time, because if you see the present sentiments are like this. We have to be very strict when it comes to dealing with issues like rape. Okay, तो आपको काफी strict होना पड़ता है when it comes to issues like rape. But here things are appearing to be different, that Gujarat government has basically released these particular people. These convicts have been released. That's why it's a really, you can say, important thing that we have to understand, because you have to look into the message that it is sending to the world. पूरी दुनिया में क्या मैसेज जा रहा है, that's what we have to understand. Are we going to do this? You are not considering the मेंटल स्टेट ऑफ विक्टिम, ओके, मेंटल स्टेट ऑफ विक्टिम कैसा रहा होगा यहाँ पे इस डेवलपमेंट के अंदर, वी हैव टू थिंक अबाउट दीज थिंग्स. दिस इज अ सीरियस, यू कैन से, इशू. ये एक बहुत ही सीरियस इशू है एंड वी हैव टू डू समथिंग रिगार्डिंग दिस. ओके, इसके लिए वाकई किया जाना जरूरी है. दिस इज व्हाट दिस एडिटोरियल इज डिस्कसिंग, दैट it is exceptionalism in granting the release of 11 individuals that lies at the core of injustice in this Bilkis Bano case. Okay, this is the whole case, that they were given life imprisonment in 2008, and a special CBI court sentenced those men for life imprisonment in 2008, and why you are releasing it right now? So these are the things, and there are a lot of contradictions in the sense that, do we have any criteria to decide who is to be released and who is not? क्या आपके पास कोई क्राइटेरिया है जो ये बताए कि किसको आप छोड़ेंगे और किसको आप नहीं छोड़ेंगे? That criteria is not existing. That criteria is not existing. Okay, and in this way, this release is unjust. In this way, this release is completely unjust. Okay, now while the law is in this case seems to give power to the Gujarat government, but still the point is this: what is the legality of this particular release? Isn't it injustice that you are releasing few people and you are not releasing others? That's the major point here. Okay, Gujarat government's current remission policy, if you talk about, makes those convicted in the rape case ineligible for premature release. So existing policy is like this, that the release of the prisoners in case of rape is not possible. But however, Supreme Court has said that since the crime was committed earlier, so the policy of 1992 will be applicable here. 1992 की पॉलिसी यहाँ पे लगेगी, and at that time the convicts of rape cases as well, they can be freed. This is the reason why these people, they have been freed. Okay, so ये सारा मामला है यहाँ पे, and that's why there is a fundamental question of injustice in this, because you are not considering the mental state of the victim here, what she will undergo after listening to this particular news. Okay, so that's the major point here. Now in all this thing, in all this debate, we have some of the legal provisions that may come up in the contradiction. So you have Prisons Act 1894, and then you have rules developed by different state governments. They deal with the release of prisoners and all, premature release of prisoners. Subsequently, you have something called CRPC that clearly says that life convicts that have undergo a minimum 14 years of actual imprisonment can be considered for remission. तो premature अगर release करना भी है, so that is only after 14 years of imprisonment. ठीक है? Here, state government have also developed premature release rules that include power to give effect to the governor's power of remission. Okay, even if you want to bypass the CRPC provision, it can be possible. तब भी वो possible है. So here in this particular case, these individuals, they have been imprisoned. इनको जेल में डाला गया है, and because some of them have already completed say 14 और say 11 तो ऐसे थे जो 15 साल से ज्यादा सजा काट चुके थे. Okay, so that question was irrelevant. So question here was about this, whether this remission, is it a right that you have to release people? Is it a right that these people, they have to be released? Other point is this: Supreme Court has recognized remission as an inherent part of prisoners' right to life. They have recognized this thing as part of prisoners' right to life. Okay, this is what you have to understand. And other point is this: in India we have reformative justice. So this release is given with the mindset that the prisoners, they have reformed themselves. वो अपने आप को बदल चुके हैं, and now they can be easily released. This is what the whole thought process is about. Okay, this is what the whole thought process is about. But still the question is this: how can you go ahead with these particular arrangements? What about giving impunity to the sexual violence? Means, is it sending the right message to the society? Is it the right message we are sending to the society? This is what we have to understand. These are the major challenges that we have in case of rape survivors. Difficulties are pronounced, qualitatively different for survivors from caste, religious minority against whom rape is used as a weapon of social oppression. So, is this the right message that we are sending? That the person who can commit rape and one day he will be freed? This is the fundamental question that we have to look into. Okay, ये सारी चीजें यहाँ पे हमें एड्रेस करनी है. So we'll deal with another important question that is related to the freebies. Okay, again it is coming up again and again, and it has become really very important for your exam. So first thing is this: have we defined freebies somewhere? कहीं पे कोई defined है freebies? Okay, we have not defined freebies. कुछ भी ऐसा mentioned नहीं है. Supreme Court is serious about this particular issue, as they say that this freebie culture, it put burden, major burden on the fiscal health of the country. Okay, major burden has been put on the fiscal health of the country, that to fulfill the promises made as freebies, your government have to manage funds, government have to spend money. Okay, and sometimes these freebies, these in the form of subsidies. Okay, कभी कभी ऐसा होता है जो freebies और subsidy मिलती हैं, they are wasteful as well, that instead of creating benefit they end up creating wastage. For example, फ्री इलेक्ट्रिसिटी दैट इज गिवन. ओके, फ्री इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जो दी जाती है उसको वेस्टफुल सब्सिडी माना जाता है. सो दैट्स द पॉइंट वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. नाउ द डिबेट इज दिस: definitely there is whole sort of asymmetry about it. Okay, it has economic impact, there is no doubt about it, काफी impact पड़ता है. So here Supreme Court has recommended constituting an expert committee comprising of members from Union, State, Finance Commission, Niti Aayog, Reserve Bank of India to look into this particular issue of freebies. भाई अब देखना है कि क्या वाकई freebies कंटिन्यू करनी चाहिए, प्रॉब्लम क्या है, इश्यूज क्या हैं. टू एड्रेस दोज पर्टिकुलर थिंग्स you need to have a full-fledged, you can say, committee that will look into these particular things. Okay, now on the other hand, those in favor of freebies argue that in a stratified society where capital is in different forms get accumulated in the hands of few, the poor and the marginalized become the victim. Okay, so they are saying that you need to provide the social security to the people. भाई कहीं ना कहीं जो है आपको social security तो है, वो तो देनी ही देनी पड़ेगी. That's the important point here. Okay, that's the point, that's the major point here. So ये तो आपको देखना ही देखना पड़ेगा. Now here social welfare measures, they are basically ridiculing the freebies culture. Okay, so कुछ लोग ऐसे हैं, they will say that freebies are not good, but there are some people who will say that they act as a shock absorber. See, the point is this: you have to help poor section of the society. If the government is not assisting the poor section of the society, poor section will definitely revolt. कहीं ना कहीं revolt होगा ही होगा. So you have to look into the interest of the poorest of the poor as well. सबका आपको ख्याल रखना है एज अ गवर्नमेंट. ओके, इट इज नॉट जस्ट अबाउट द रिच दैट you have to, you can say, serve. Here poorest of the poor also have to be provided assistance. But the point is different. Now if we are giving freebies to the poor, and what do you call about the tax exemptions that are given to the rich? जो corporates को tax exemption मिलते हैं, are they not freebies? क्या वो freebies नहीं है? This is the fundamental question. So if the tax exemptions are given to the corporate and the business houses, there is a statement, they will say that the idea is this benefit will finally trickle down to the poorest section of the society. That if the exemptions are given, it will facilitate job creation, output will be higher, infrastructure development can be carried out. Okay, and in this way it will basically benefit the poorest sections of the society, may not be directly but indirectly. This is the idea that is given. Now in this particular idea we have established special economic zone, software technology park, biotechnology park. Okay, where there is tax holiday given for say initial 5 years. पहले 5 साल तो कोई टैक्स भी कलेक्ट नहीं होता. Is it not the freebies? Is it not the freebie culture we are promoting? Other point is this: as we are not taxing the rich, it has developed into a major problem that is leading to inequality in the society. That top 1% of India, they are basically holding 22% of the national wealth. Top 10% own 57% of the national wealth. That's the major problem. In this country, the direct taxes such as corporate tax, it has been slashed from 30% to 18%, whereas indirect taxes are increased. Now, even the poorer section of the society, they are paying that indirect tax. जो गरीब है वो भी इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स पे करता है, बिकॉज इफ यू बाय अ सिंगल पैकेट ऑफ बिस्किट, अगर आप बिस्किट का भी एक पैकेट लेते हैं, दैट इज ऑल्सो इंक्लूडिंग द टैक्स अमाउंट, जीएसटी उसके ऊपर भी लगता है. सो दिस इज द मेजर पॉइंट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. Here we are not, you can say, taxing the rich and we are taxing the poor. This is what the whole message is about. If you talk about freebies, now there are seriously positive results which have been produced. Like Tamil Nadu government, they give free bus passes for women. Now, with this particular thing, women are able to participate in the economic activity. The government is sharing the transportation burden. There is no harm in that. There, you can say participation in the economic activity is more in Tamil Nadu. They are empowered more than rest of the states. That's the major problem here. So free midday meal. Now free midday meal that has been given, it basically facilitates nutrition health of the people, of the children. तो बच्चों की न्यूट्रिशन हेल्थ जो है वो यहाँ पे इंप्रूव होती है. दिस इज द मेजर पॉइंट हियर. ओके, दिस इज द मेजर पॉइंट हियर. So this is the whole idea. This is the whole idea about this. Now definitely there is no doubt that it will damage, you can say it will put pressure on state exchequer. Okay, but we have adopted cooperative federalism. It means both center and states, they have to work together regarding this. Okay, जो भी आप अपनी पॉलिसी बना रहे हो, इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसी, उसके अंदर आपको साथ में मिलके काम करना ही करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है ना, साथ में मिलके काम करना ही करना पड़ेगा. एंड हेयर वी हैव अनदर केस of in Subramanian Balaji versus State of Tamil Nadu. In that, the court observed that distribution of gifts relates to the implementation of directive principles of the state policy, that is improving the standard of living of the people. लोगों का standard of living जो है वो यहाँ पे improve होता है. This is what court has observed. So we have these past judgments. We don't know what will be the outcome of the latest Supreme Court judgment. So we have to still wait for this particular judgment. देखना पड़ेगा कि क्या Supreme Court यहाँ पे stand लेता है. But this is the overall scenario. Okay, so we'll move to the next part. आगे चलते हैं, देखते हैं और क्या है. From darkness to the solar powered right. Okay, so you can read about this thing. So here they are talking about Tripura, where definitely solar power has really contributed in the improvement of life of the people. Okay, so ये काफी important है. So we may not be able to realize this thing, what's the important part electricity play in our life, but these villages, they are right now cherishing it. Other than that, there is nothing much, कुछ खास नहीं है यहाँ पे. Okay, so past verdicts will hold Supreme Court in good stead in Bilkis case. So here we will be dealing with some parts. Now you should know this: state government here decided to remit the sentence of 11 convicts. Civil rights groups are not happy because of this particular judgment. Okay, in April 22, the Supreme Court bench led by Justice Chandrachud had said that state cannot exercise its remission powers arbitrarily. Okay, so this is the high time that we have to devise some rules, some criterias. कुछ क्राइटेरिया, कुछ रूल अब बनाने पड़ेंगे हमें. अदरवाइज दिस टाइप ऑफ आर्बिट्रेरी डिसीजन मेकिंग और too much discretion in the hands of state government is not the right thing, because for their political motive and all, politicians, they can take some of these actions. आपके political motive के लिए भी ऐसा किया जा सकता है. Okay, this is what the whole scenario is about, and that's why we are saying it is not a right thing. So court in Haryana versus Mohinder Singh, has underscored that, now these judgments are important, you have to note it down. So has underscored that the grant of remission should be informed, fair and reasonable. But here no information is been released. अभी कोई भी आपको information नहीं बताई जा रही कि किस बेस पे इनको रिलीज किया गया है. In Ranjan versus Home Secretary, the top court held that the grant of premature release is not a matter of privilege but is the power coupled with duty conferred on the appropriate government. तो ये कोई प्रिविलेज नहीं है कि देना ही देना पड़ेगा, ठीक है ना, ये गवर्नमेंट की पावर है एंड दे हैव टू एक्सरसाइज दिस पावर जुडिशियसली. ओके, द कोर्ट फर्दर सेड दैट रेमिशन शुड नॉट अंडरमाइन द नेचर ऑफ द क्राइम कमिटेड. तो जुर्म के हिसाब से आपको ये डिसीजन लेना है. In each and every crime you cannot go ahead with the remission. Okay, you have to see the gravity of the crime as well. So in Lakshman Naskar versus Union of India, court laid down 5 questions. So first question is this: whether the offense is an individual act of crime that does not affect society. Now you tell me one thing, this crime was related to rape, is it not affecting the society? Other point is this: whether there is a chance of crime being repeated in future. So क्या ये फ्यूचर में रिपीट नहीं कर सकते हैं? अनुश्री इज आस्किंग दिस डाउट. अनुश्री इज सेइंग दैट हाउ टू एग्जामिन दे विल नॉट अटेम्प्ट रेप अगेन. सेम क्वेश्चन हैज बीन पॉइंटेड आउट इन दिस पर्टिकुलर आर्टिकल that it will not be repeated. How can you be so sure about it? Okay, whether the convict has lost the potentiality to commit crime. क्या रीजन है यहाँ पे? How are you proving it? Whether any purpose is served in keeping the convicts in prison. क्या कोई purpose serve हो रहा है आपका उनको जेल में रख के? Then socio-economic condition of the convict family. So these conditions, these 5 questions are mentioned here, and after analyzing things in these 5 questions, you have to come out with the judgment. Not before that. इन चीजों को समझने के बाद ही आपको judgment देना है. Okay, this is what has been mentioned in this article. So we'll move to the next part. आगे देखते हैं और क्या है. So here we have news. Now Indian team deliberating on Ocean Diversity Pact. Okay, so here Indian team is carrying out this discussion with the member countries of United Nations, you can say, and majorly here things will be discussed under United Nations Convention on law of the sea. Okay, so UNCLOS के अंदर जो है ये डिस्कशन पूरा चल रहा है. Now the point is this: fundamental question is about whether private companies should be allowed to carry out exploration or not. क्या प्राइवेट कंपनीज को एक्सपेडिशन करना अलाउ होना चाहिए? दैट्स द फंडामेंटल क्वेश्चन, बिकॉज हेयर focus is on mining activity in sea area. Now it has been important because of the important resources that we get from the sea, say gas hydrate, precious metals and other fossil fuels. So we are getting lot of resources from the sea, and today in this world here we are focusing on biotechnology, genetic engineering. Okay, and many companies are interested in carrying out exploration, deep sea exploration, for you can say for finding the ड्रग्स और वैक्सीन्स. सो वो सारी चीजें करने के लिए इनको परमिशन चाहिए. दिस इज व्हाट हैज टू बी डिबेटेड एट द लेवल ऑफ यूनाइटेड नेशन. नाउ अदर पॉइंट इज दिस: इंडिया हैज अप्रूव्ड ब्लू इकोनॉमी पॉलिसी. Like we are ready to spend 4,000 crore. Okay, this is the program that we have. Now if we truly want to realize this particular policy, it will only be possible if this deep sea exploration is allowed. तो अगर आपका डीप सी एक्सप्लोरेशन अलाउड होगा तभी आप इसको जो है मानोगे. ओके, दिस इज द मेजर पॉइंट हियर. सो इफ दिस डीप सी एक्सप्लोरेशन इज नॉट अलाउड देन डेफिनेटली यू कैन नॉट गो अहेड विद दिस. ओके, बहुत ही सिंपल सी चीज है ये. This is the reason why we are carrying out this discussion with the other members of United Nations. Okay, Amethi unit all set to make AK-203 rifle. Okay, this will be done under Make in India, and we will be developing these, you can say, rifles with the help of Russia. Okay, so this is the good development, but we have to see when the production is going to start. Okay, the training of Indian workers, it will begin जल्दी अभी जो है ये start होने वाली है, and it is in line with आत्मनिर्भर भारत अभियान that we are carrying out. Okay, उसके अंदर basically ये किया जा रहा है. So it's a really good development, and as early as possible we should start these things. Okay, so it will reduce our dependence on other countries. सो ये हमारे कंट्री के अंदर हमारे में ये कैपेसिटी होनी चाहिए. ओके, दिस इज व्हाट इज इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट हियर. सो यू कैन इजीली अंडरस्टैंड दिस थिंग. नाउ टुडे रशिया इज going ahead with the war. Russia is not able to provide supplies. Okay, तो फ्यूचर के अंदर अगर हमारी चाइना के साथ लड़ाई हो जाती है तो यू नीडेड दोज सप्लाईज. सो इफ यू डोंट हैव डोमेस्टिक प्रोडक्शन, ओके, अगर आपके यहाँ पे डोमेस्टिक प्रोडक्शन नहीं होता है, सो सप्लाई लाइन्स are difficult to address. Okay, so to avoid such type of issues we need to have the domestic production ability, and that's why we are going ahead with this particular program. Now we have another news associated with this. Okay, so mishap at Meghalaya coal mine. देखिए, इसको बोलते हैं rat hole mining. Okay, that is called rat hole mining. So here this is illegal mining that is being carried out. Okay, ये इलीगल माइन है जो चलाई जाती है, एंड हेयर पीपल आर एंटरिंग दीज होल्स. सो यू हैव टू मैन्युअली एंटर दीज होल्स. ओके, एंड कोल इज एक्सट्रैक्टेड थ्रू मैनुअल लेबर. कोई मशीन नहीं लगती और आपको जाके कोल वहां से एक्सट्रैक्ट करना पड़ता है. बट द प्रॉब्लम इज दिस, स्पेसिफिकली ड्यूरिंग द रेनी सीजन. ओके, रेनी सीजन के टाइम पे दीज माइन्स, मल्टीपल इंस्टेंसेज आर देयर दैट वाटर गेट फिल्ड. तो पानी अगर आ गया तो लाइफ ऑफ द वर्कर्स हु आर इन दैट पर्टिकुलर माइन, दे विल बी अंडर थ्रेट. दिस इज द मेजर पॉइंट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. तो ये चीज़ जो है ये सारी आपको समझनी है यहाँ पे. एंड दिस हैज़ बीन बैंड. दिस पर्टिकुलर माइनिंग, रैट होल माइनिंग हैज़ बीन बैंड, बट स्टिल इलीगली इट इज बीइंग कैरिड आउट. ओके, सो दिस इज अ बेसिकली गवर्नेंस रिलेटेड प्रॉब्लम. ये कहीं ना कहीं गवर्नेंस रिलेटेड प्रॉब्लम है, दैट व्हाई दीज इलीगल माइंस आर स्टिल वर्किंग. So multiple times mishaps and all problems they do happen in this particular mine. Okay, that's the point. Now shortage of drugs forces HIV patients to carry on with the stay. Okay, so this is a very serious thing. So HIV patients they cannot survive without drugs. So but shortage अगर है तो ये बहुत alarming है. It shows that like how serious your government and the administration is while taking, you can say, while taking care of HIV patients. तो ये दिखाता है कि हम कितने नॉन सीरियस हैं. तो ये सारी चीज़ आपको समझनी है यहाँ पे. ओके, अदर देन दैट देर इज़ नथिंग मच, कुछ खास नहीं है यहाँ पे. सो हेयर वी आर, heavy rain expected. Odisha, like they are on alert right now. So like this is the problem in this country. So yesterday also I told you one thing. If you talk about UP, and in UP there is this Bundelkhand region. Okay, तो यूपी की अगर हम बात करते हैं तो यूपी के अंदर एक बुंदेलखंड रीजन है. सो सपोज दिस इज योर उत्तर प्रदेश एरिया. ओके, सो ये एरिया जो है साउथ यूपी का एमपी के साथ जो लगता है, दिस इज बेसिकली योर बुंदेलखंड. Now, what happens? Like here, people are saying this year we may experience drought. इस साल शायद सूखा पड़ जाए वहाँ पे. ओके, सो ये सबसे बड़ी मेजर प्रॉब्लम है. तो सूखा अगर पड़ता है तो इट्स अ वेरी सैड थिंग. It's a very sad thing. But parallelly, if you see, like floods are also going on in this country. Parallelly आप देखेंगे तो floods भी हो रहे हैं, उड़ीसा के अंदर floods आ रहे हैं. So this is a peculiar problem that India has. ये सबसे बड़ी समस्या हमें देखने को मिलती है. ठीक है ना. तो कहीं ना कहीं बड़ा चैलेंज है. We have to see how we are going to address it. Other than that, there is nothing much here on international page as well. Now people in Taiwan do not want to be treated as pawn in the hands of great powers. Okay, so they don't want that the great powers should end up playing games in that region. Okay, तो ये सारी बात वो बताते हैं. Other than that, there is nothing much. Now we'll move to this particular part. Resolution confuses more than it clarifies, MPC's Verma argued. Okay, so the point is here the resolution is regarding moving away from accommodation. Okay, so किसके ऊपर resolution है? Resolution is related to withdrawal of accommodation policy. Okay, accommodation policy क्या कहती है? Accommodation policy, now under this accommodation policy interest rates are reduced. interest rates जो हैं वो कम किए जाते हैं. Okay, so that you can pumping more money, आप मोर मनी डाल सकें. ओके, यू कैन पंप इन मोर मनी इन योर इकोनॉमी, अपनी इकोनॉमी के अंदर और पैसा आप डाल सकें. ओके, फॉर दैट दिस इज मेजरली बीइंग डन. उसलिए ये सब किया जाता है. ठीक है जी. तो ये चीज़ आपको यहाँ पे समझना ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. ओके, Now this resolution has been passed which is saying that we have to move away from accommodation. So why, how do you move away? When you realize that your economy is in a good shape, जब आपको ये लगता है कि इकोनॉमी का ग्रोथ अब हो जाएगा, then you can talk about moving away from accommodation. You can talk about increasing the interest rate. आप interest rates को increase करने की बात कर सकते हो. Okay. Now increasing the interest rate is really very important. Why are we saying that कि interest rate बढ़ाना क्यों हमारे लिए ज़रूरी है? देखिए इसके अंदर एक चीज़ समझना बहुत ज़रूरी है, that this interest rate, it is also linked with the interest that people are going to get on their savings. Okay. जब ये इंटरेस्ट रेट बढ़ेगा तो बैंक भी अपना इंटरेस्ट रेट बढ़ाएगा सेविंग्स के ऊपर. So if you want people to deposit their money in banks so that they can get decent interest, for that this accommodative policy have to be withdrawn. ये policy पीछे हटाना जरूरी है. This is the whole debate is about. Okay. Till the time like we continue with this accommodation policy, interest rate आप कम करके रखोगे, so banks will not be able to pass on, you can say, good interest to the saving account holder. जो आपके saving account holder है उनको आपका बैंक पैसे दे ही नहीं पाएगा. People will not go for the savings. लोग अपने पैसे बैंक में जमा क्यों करेंगे जब बैंक कुछ रिटर्न ही नहीं दे रहा है तो. So this is a fundamental problem that we have to deal with. Other than that, there is nothing much. Worries over growth, inflation easing. This is what finance minister is saying. So things are moving in right direction. India is relatively better off as compared to other, you can say, economies. Okay. So this is what the whole debate is about. India smartwatch, like this is what, there is no other relevant news in the paper. Okay, so this is what we have for today's session. That's it for the day then. Thank you very much.